Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. As everybody who watches this channel, you all know I'm a huge wrestling fan. So I thought I should take a look at the 1990 WWF Hasbro figures. And that's what I want to talk about on today's episode. So roll that intro.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through Series 1 of the 1990 WWF Hasbro figures. So I just kind of wanted to go over them real quick. I'm not going to go into super big detail on each one, but I got this little thing and I thought it was kind of cool. It's like a figure display. So it has different speeds and it goes either way you want it to go with a press of a button on the back. So I thought that would be kind of cool to just set them out while I'm talking about them for a second. The only bad thing about these is that if you listen, it kind of makes like a little sound, I guess, like a little motor running, which that kind of sucks. But let me know how you guys like that, because I think I'm going to do some G.I. Joe stuff with this. The first figure, and these aren't in any order, this is just the first series of figures. I'll start out with the Hulkster. Now, Hulk Hogan was extremely popular at this time. You know, 1990 was a year that had some big changes in WWE, and if you followed wrestling at the time, Hulk Hogan was where it was at. Like, everybody loved Hogan, all the kids loved Hogan, so it was fitting to have him, you know, in the Series 1 line. So yeah, Hulk Hogan, he has the Gorilla Press Slam. So every one of these figures has like a little action, and his is kind of messed up. But basically you were supposed to pull his hands up and they would come down like he's like gorilla pressing somebody. Hulk rules on his t-shirt, and he's in pretty good condition. But I don't know, I wasn't a huge Hulk Hogan fan, but I did like watching him wrestle, and he had some insane storylines. Some of my favorite ones of all time. The Mega Powers, I mean, all that was just so freaking cool to see when you're a kid. Yeah, there you go. The first figure is Hulk Hogan. Okay, so the next figure I want to talk about is, man, he's like my favorite when I was younger. I think he was a lot of kids' favorites because he was just so energetic. And now, later on, as I've watched wrestling and watched interviews, like this dude was known as a pretty big D-bag. When you're a kid, you don't really care about the politics of wrestling. You don't care if he's a cool guy behind the scenes. You just wanted him to get out there, run all the way down to the ring, and just do like 5 moves and start kicking everybody's ass and just do the gorilla press, the splash, and just kick everybody's ass, man. And that was the Ultimate Warrior. He's a extremely popular figure this year. So there's actually a couple different Warrior figures throughout the line because they would put him in different outfits and stuff. But when I was a kid, this was one of the ones I actually had. And I think it's funny because, so technically he has the action of Ultimate Smash, which if you look on the back here, he's got this little lever, and then I just, what that would do was basically this. I mean, it looks ridiculous, but he's like, I don't know why they called it the Ultimate Smash. I guess because they gave Hogan the Gorilla Press, but this is what he used to do. Hogan would body slam people, but Ultimate Warrior would like Gorilla Press him and then just drop him, and he walked behind, like he would drop him back behind him. So I don't know why they did that, but I do like this figure. But one huge problem with it is the legs. Like, these things are molded together, like you can't separate them or anything, and he just looks like he just looks silly standing there. There's a couple different molds that they used in this Hasbro line. You'll find multiple different characters with this same stance, with these legs and stuff like that. So it was a way to save money, but I don't know. I don't think they thought about the stances very much, because some of these dudes look really stupid in some of these stances, and it really hurts the figure. Like, even when I was a kid, I liked the Warrior, but I didn't like playing with him very much because his legs wasn't like open and separated. But a lot of people love this figure, and one of the big things that goes wrong with it all the time is they call him like the shit nose or poop nose. because his nose is easily scratched off because he has face paint on. Because all these figures are literally just one color, painting over them with the other colors. But when you say I rub that green off, he's gonna have this flesh tone. And that's what happens to a lot of these. So if you look at his boots right here, you can see there's like flesh tone under the white because it's literally just one color. But that was a huge problem, is like finding one now that doesn't have a scraped up nose, because people's playing with them and rubbing them around and all that. So there you go, Ultimate Warrior. Now the next figure that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to actually show two because they're a tag team. And this was the first tag team that came out in the line. And it is Demolition Axe and Demolition Smash. When I was younger, I loved tag teams. You know, when I would like play wrestle and things like that with my uncle and my cousins, like we would do tag teams. So Demolition was really a big deal. That we loved the face paint, but they were heels. So you had to have somebody go against them. And in a future video, I'll show one of their biggest rivals off in another video. But this is Demolition Axe and Demolition Smash. Now Axe had a move called the Axe Attack, but if you look, he looks pretty much just like Hogan, right? He looks just like Hulk Hogan with like a little different stance in his feet. His move's the same though, so you can twist him like this a little bit, but it's pretty much just, you know, and it'll go all the way around like that, so you can kind of, I don't know. But yeah, that's Demolition Axe. Now Demolition Smash, his move is called the Demolition Smasher. But it's basically like a wind-up punch, like whoopsh, whoopsh, something like that. But this video is getting long, so I kind of got to hurry up. But yeah, there you go. Such a cool tag team. They had a ton of cool storylines, a ton of cool feuds. So the tag team of Demolition, and that was the only tag team released in Series 1. The next figure I want to talk about is one of my favorite wrestlers when I was younger. Something about him I really loved. I loved his charisma. He was incredible on the mic. His physique was insane. Ravishing Rick Rude was extremely terrible. This is probably my most hated mold from the line. I don't know. I just don't like it. It's first of all, he was in incredible shape. I don't know. I just don't like the way they did him. I don't think they did him justice at all. He was an extremely charismatic wrestler, and I just don't like this pose for him at all. So when I never had him when I was a kid. When you tried to play with him, it was just weird. Like, I mean, what can you do here? Like, so, okay, anyways. His action is called the Rude Awakening Headlock. Basically what that means is put you in a headlock and his arm goes back and he just hits you in your face. But, or you can kind of put it up and do like a Stone Cold Stunner or so. I mean, he has great paint on him. I love his tights. I loved his storylines back in the day with his feuds with Jake the Snake Roberts and Ultimate Warrior and all that. But I just don't think they did his figure justice. But yeah, there you go. Ravishing Rick Rude. The next figure I want to talk about is one of the most charismatic wrestling icons there ever was, man. He was so freaking cool. He had incredible mic charisma, incredible in the ring. He was just an overall favorite. And it's obviously Macho Man Randy Savage. Now, this right here is what I wish I would even take every figure to look just like this mold. This mold is one of the coolest molds in the line, and it's because his hands are closed, like he's ready to fight. I just thought that was really freaking neat, especially now when I go to collect. Like I just wish every mold looked like him because it's just really cool. But yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage. His move is obviously the top turnbuckle elbow smash. So you put him on the top rope and you just elbow smash. Pretty cool. Macho Man Randy Savage was an icon, and man, his insane promo that he did with Hogan and the cream of the crop promo and the Mega Powers breaking up promo was just, it was absolute gold. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So I don't know, man. What do you say about Macho Man Randy Savage? He's unbelievable. The next figure that I want to talk about is a character that I really don't know why they put him in the line for Series 1. His original gimmick was called One Man Gang. But when they brought him back out and rebranded him, they made him Akeem The Dream. Not Hakeem, Akeem with a letter A. And he would have this ridiculous... This gimmick wasn't very good. I do like him as a character. I liked him in wrestling, so I just thought that was really cool. And he has one of the most insane botches that I ever seen back in the day when I was watching wrestling. And if I can find a clip of it, I'll definitely put it in this video. But
and the champion don't look too good, McMahon. Look at this. Whoa! And a slam, no! The slam misses.
Akeem The Dream. And he just had the basic body slam. So it's just like Andre the Giant, but they just called it something different. So it's the same thing. It's literally just slamming his body into you. So there you go, Akeem The Dream. The next one is one of my favorite characters from when I was younger. This dude was super popular. Nobody was as agile as him for a big man. And I truly mean that. He was up there with like Big Van Vader with ring ability for a big man. And it was good old Ray Traylor, or as you guys know him, Big Boss Man. Now, the gimmick was fantastic. He's a cop, so he's coming for the bad guys. He's a face coming for heels in WWF. And it's just really cool. He's just like cops and bad guys. So, you know, Ray Traylor, man, dude, shout out to him. He was incredible. He passed away, but I mean, just extremely agile. I mean, I watch old wrestling now and I was just like, dude, this guy was way ahead of his time. He was killer on the mic. He would always say things like, you know, you're gonna do hard time. He would always make like references to being in jail, or like, you know, because it went with the gimmick. And I just thought that was so cool. Like, you know, and so he would come with a nightstick. A couple figures from Series 1 came with, like, I guess an accessory, and he was one of them, and it's his nightstick. Now, nowadays, these accessories are extremely hard to find, and they're sometimes more expensive than the darn figures. So finding authentic ones are really, really rare, because they do make reproductions of them also. But yeah, what do I say about Ray Traylor, man? Big Boss Man. He was super freaking cool. And I'm sure you guys know who Big Boss Man is. I wish I could insert some promos, but WWE will strike your videos on anything you put. But I mean, just go back and watch some promos with this dude. He was hysterical, and it all worked perfectly. So yeah, good old Ray Traylor, Big Boss Man. The next figure I want to talk about is Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Now, he comes with his hair clip and shears. Now, Brutus the Barber Beefcake was an extremely good friend of Hulk Hogan in real life back then. So he would get a lot of you know, screen time and TV time, because Hogan was pulling a lot of strings for him because they were buddies. So he had this you know, super cool push that you know, a lot of people say he wasn't an amazing wrestler. And when I go back and watch now, and yeah, they're correct, he isn't the greatest, but he did have some charisma, and he was decent on the mic. How I remember Brutus the Barber Beefcake is because he had this little talk show called The Barbershop, and then that's where he would like interview wrestlers, and it was like the backdrop of a like a fake barbershop with like barber chairs, and that was his whole gimmick. Like if he beat your ass or something, he would, you know, if you had long hair or something, he would cut a strand of your hair off, like before you roll out of the ring. And I don't know, he had pretty good charisma, I thought. But yeah, and like I said, he's got this Ultimate Warrior body mold where basically it's the same thing. But with him, what was weird is it was the sleeper hold, which, I mean, you can't even do that. I mean, I don't even know, but yeah, he had the sleeper hold. So Brutus the Barber Beefcake, pretty cool. Now the next figure I want to talk about is one of the coolest figures. I mean, all these guys are, you know, super cool. These characters were so great back in 1990. But I don't know, something about this dude, it really made me hate him. I hated this guy. I loved to hate him. and he was just a complete asshole to kids, adults, wrestlers, officials, referees. This dude was an absolute menace. And that's the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Now, he comes with his $1 Million belt. There's other versions of $1 Million Man later on in the line that have a different belt than this. So you got to make sure if you're buying this figure, you get this belt and not the belt from the other series. So, you know, $1 Million Man, what do you say about him? I love his stance. That's one of my favorite stances. But he had the $1 Million Punch, and it's pretty much just the same thing of, you know, like I said, something like this. But super cool. $1 Million Man, one of my favorites. He had some awesome interviews and awesome promos that he used to do with his bodyguard Virgil. And I don't know, this video's crazy long. Anyways, I'll tell one real quick. Do I got time? Okay, I got time. He's standing out there and he's talking about, you know, people are just pathetic and they wish they could be rich like him. And he's standing out there with Virgil and IRS, who is Erwin R. Shyster. And this little, he says, who wants to win $100? So he comes, you know, these kids are all raising their hands. So he calls this kid in from the audience to come up. And he goes, if you can bounce this basketball 10 times, I'll give you $100. And, you know, the kid's like, oh, bet I can, you know. So he starts bouncing, you know, 1, 2, all the way up to 9. And as soon as he gets to 9, he's getting ready to bounce it the 10th time. And the $1 Million Man kicks the ball out from out of his hands as it's going down to the ground for the 10th bounce. And, you know, and everybody's like, oh, and he's like, oh, too bad, you know. And it's just, it was just, he was a perfect heel. You know, they kind of like, the kid was super sad looking. So Virgil ended up grabbing the money and giving it to him. And then Erwin R. Shyster goes, wait a minute. There's one thing that happens when you get money. You got to make sure you pay your taxes. And he grabs the $100 bill and takes it back from him. I mean, it was just such an incredible promo. And it just like, they didn't give a fuck about this dude, this little kid. Like, sorry I went off on that tangent, but you have to watch the clip. You can find it on YouTube. It's so fucking hilarious, man. But yeah, $1 Million Man with the $1 Million belt. The last one from Series 1 is going to be a super cool character. One of my favorites when I was a kid because he had a fucking animal. And that's going to be the man himself, Jake the Snake Roberts. Man, his character was great. His gimmick was great. And he was so silent but deadly. His promos have gone down in history for being iconic. And the thing is he didn't yell, he didn't scream, he wasn't super jacked. He was just a normal looking dude, but he talked in like such a monotone that made you feel that he was 100% serious. It's kind of like when you're out with your kids, right? Or you're out with somebody and they're acting up. And you can't blow up on them, right? So you just look at them with that look and you're like, you better stop. And it's one of those things where like, that's how he talked all the time. He would be like, when you get in the ring with Jake the Snake, one thing's gonna happen. I'm gonna put them shoulders on the mat. I'm gonna beat you within an inch of your life. And I'm gonna get the 1, 2, 3. And then I'm gonna grab Damien and he's gonna have a snack. So Damien was the snake's name. So he would like kick your ass and he would grab Damien out of his bag and this big ass boa constrictor, or this, was it an anaconda? Anaconda or a boa constrictor. Anyway, he pulled this big ass snake out and he would throw it on you. And one little fun fact before I go, Andre the Giant was extremely scared of snakes in real life. So that's why they made him always feud with Andre, and like he would like bring the snake, he would like run down from the ring if somebody was getting jumped and just throw Damien in the ring. He would slide him right out of his bag into the fucking ring, and then Andre the Giant would be like, you'd never see his ass move so fast out of that ring. So I don't know, super freaking cool. But yeah, there you go, guys. Jake the Snake Roberts, and that's Series 1. Oh yeah, one more thing. He had the move called the Python Punch. It's just the same as everybody else. You push his arm back right here, and he just punches you. So kind of like a little cheesy gimmick. I would have just loved to have the figures without the gimmicks. Just have the characters and I would have been fine with it. But anyways, guys, this video is super long. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Series 1 of the 1990 Hasbro WWF figures. Keep on reminiscing, y'all. Take it easy.
All right, there you go. That's the exclusive look at the 1990 WWF Hasbro figures. If you're like me, you loved these things when you was a kid. I remember seeing them and pulling them off the pegs at Toys R Us and just looking at them. There was nothing cooler than seeing somebody like the Ultimate Warrior or Big Boss Man or Hulk Hogan in a form of a toy that you could play with. It just blew my mind that there was actual real people in toy form. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you had any of these figures, I'd love to hear what figures you had. So put it down in the comment section below. I don't own every one of these because the line is pretty big, but I do have a couple waves of them. And if you would like to see those, just let me know and I'll try to make a future video about them. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, keep on reminiscing, baby.